Chapter 1. I called my father, Winston Grayson, directly, doing my best to keep my voice calm. Dad, I saw Felix's post. He said he paid in full for a villa. Where did the money come from? On the other end of the line, Dad sounded delighted. Oh, Luther, you saw that too? It's wonderful news. Our family finally has a new place in the city center. I asked where the money came from. I cut in. He paused, sounding slightly awkward. Luther, that was the compensation money from when your mother passed away. She loved your little brother the most when she was alive. I'm just fulfilling her wish for her. The compensation from Mom's death had only been a little over $1 million. So where did the rest of the money come from? I pressed on, saying, that villa cost $7 million. The compensation alone wouldn't have been enough, right? Dad hesitated before answering. Well, the demolition compensation for those two old houses back in our hometown came through a few days ago. I gave that to Felix too, so he could buy the place. My mind buzzed. I hadn't even known about the demolition compensation until now. Dad, both the compensation money for Mom's death and the demolition compensation from the houses legally include my share. Why didn't you say a word before using all of it to buy Felix a villa? Dad immediately snapped. Luther, what exactly are you trying to say? Are you really going to fight your own brother over family property? He just got into a big company, and the next step is getting married. How can he do that without a proper house? As his older brother, you should be supporting him. Instead, you're asking for a share of the money? Don't you feel any shame? I almost laughed from sheer anger, and my eyes burned with unshed tears. Shame? Dad, when you fell and injured yourself, I gave up a rare promotion opportunity and took a full week off work just to take care of you until you were discharged. You gave me $7 afterward, and I was actually touched. I thought it meant you appreciated what I'd done. Meanwhile, Felix didn't even show up once during that whole time, yet you casually handed him $7 million to buy a villa. I'm your son too. Isn't the difference in how you treat us a little too obvious? Dad didn't sound the least bit guilty. If anything, he spoke in the same patient, lecturing tone. Luther, why are you acting so childish? Felix is your little brother. When I'm old, I'll still have to count on you to help take care of him. If you behave like this, how can I rest easy? You've always had a wild streak. Who knows when you'll run off with some woman? What's the point of giving you money if you're just going to spend it on outsiders? And the $7 was just a good luck gift from your old man. Why are you suddenly being so petty about it? Petty? When I first graduated and started working, my monthly salary was $20,000. Every time payday came around, Dad would call and complain about how tight money was at home. Without fail, I transferred $15,000 to him each month. Meanwhile, I lived as frugally as possible, wearing cheap street market clothes and renting a small, rundown apartment. The money I had saved through all that sacrifice had ultimately turned into Felix's luxury home, and all I received in return was $7. Fine, Dad, I said coldly. Since I'm just an outsider who might run off with someone one day, then return the deposit I've been leaving with you these past few years. I had always called it a deposit, because whenever he asked for money, he would say, I'm saving it for you. It'll be your future wedding fund. There was a short pause on the other end of the call. 2 seconds later, Dad said impatiently, what do you mean your money? Why are you being so clear-cut about things within a family? Anyway, today we're celebrating Felix buying his new villa. Come over for dinner and stop making those snide remarks. With that, he hung up. I listened to the dial tone and wiped the tears from my eyes. Dinner? Fine. I would definitely go back and enjoy that meal. Chapter 2. The moment I stepped in, the living room was already packed with relatives. My brother, Felix Grayson, stood in the middle, animatedly boasting. Uncle Simon, you don't know how impossible it is to get into Beckett Group. Tons of people try every year, and most fail. But when I walked into the interview, the recruiter immediately said talent like mine was 1 in a million. Our uncle, Simon Dawson, grinned so wide that his wrinkles almost bloomed. I always knew Felix was clever as a kid. Dad, dressed in a pristine jacket, couldn't stop smiling. Exactly. Look at who his father is. Felix is destined to be someone special. His starting salary may only be $3,000, but Ms. Beckett clearly sees his potential. She's planning to keep him close and train him as a management candidate. Who knows? Maybe Ms. Beckett might even become my daughter-in-law someday. I paused in the entryway, feeling nothing but bitter irony. Felix hadn't earned his so-called dream job. It existed only because my girlfriend, Gwendolyn Beckett, had quietly spoken to HR on my behalf and secured him the position as a special favor. The job itself was a simple logistics role. Anyone with working arms and legs could handle it. And yet, in Felix's telling, it had magically become a testament to his brilliance and the admiration of his boss. I kept my expression neutral as I changed my shoes and walked in. For a few seconds, the chatter in the living room died down. Dad's smile faltered when he saw me. He pointed toward a small stool in the corner. You're here? Sit there. Dinner's about to start. The extra stool, which was usually reserved for the maids, was tucked far from the main table. I strode straight up to him and held out my hand. Dad, I'm not here to eat. I'm here for my money. For the past few years, I've been transferring $15,000 to you every month. That's about $500,000 in total. You said you were saving it for my marriage. I need it now. Transfer it back to me. The room froze. Felix scowled, walking toward me with obvious annoyance. Luther, what are you doing? We're family. What do you mean your money? Once it enters this house, it belongs to all of us. I glared at him. Felix, you used my hard-earned money to buy a luxury villa, and you expect me to smile? Half of that villa came from me. Either you return the money, or add my name to the deed. Dad slammed his fork onto the table so hard that it rattled the dishes. He rose to his feet and shouted, Luther, are you out of your mind? In front of all these relatives, do you have no shame? Do you think the renovations, or the furniture came free? My whole body shook with anger. That's my money. Why should it be used to renovate his villa? Dad replied as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Because he's your younger brother. You're supposed to give in to him and look out for him your whole life. As the older brother, isn't it your duty to support him? Besides, even if we gave the money back, you wouldn't keep it safe. Sooner or later, some woman would trick you out of it. Uncle Simon nibbled on a bowl of pretzels and mockingly said, Luther, that's your mistake. A man should be generous. A harmonious family gives you respect in the world. Another uncle, Vincent Grayson, added his 2 cents. Exactly. We've heard you've had a girlfriend for years, but you never brought her home. What's the matter? Are you afraid to show her off? If you hand your money to an outsider, that's really like throwing it away. Felix straightened his tie, grinning like he owned the world. Luther, don't take this the wrong way, but your girlfriend doesn't even have a proper job, right? Unlike me, I work at Beckett Group. Just saying that out loud gives me clout. Your money's basically an investment in me. When I make it big, do you really think I'd let you go hungry? To protect these so-called family members, I had always hidden Gwendolyn's true identity, telling them she was just an ordinary entrepreneur. In their eyes, that made me nothing more than a fat lamb waiting to be slaughtered, while Gwendolyn wasn't even worth a second thought. Felix, do you really think you got into Beckett Group on your own merit? I asked, fixing him a cold stare. Felix froze for a moment. Then his face flushed red with anger. Luther, stop being jealous. Why is it so hard to admit someone else is better than you? Someone like you, who's living off a fixed paycheck, wouldn't understand what a real platform looks like. Dad lunged forward and shoved me hard. Out. If you're not here to eat, get out. Stop embarrassing us. That single shove snapped the last thread of attachment I had left for this family.